The Panama Canal is a significant maritime shortcut, and one of the most important pieces of transport infrastructure. It serves as a connection between the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, and removes the need to travel thousands of miles south to the Magellan Strait, or Cape Horn, in order to cross the Americas. The length of the canal stretches for 50 miles, or 80 kilometers. The idea of a canal actually dates back to the 16th century, by early explorers and colonizers, for example, Vasco Núñez de Balboa, who discovered the Isthmus of Panama. However, such infrastructure would have been simply impossible to build at the time. Fast forward to the 19th century, a French engineer, Ferdinand de Lesseps, who successfully built the Suez Canal in Egypt, had interest in building the canal. In 1881, construction began on a sea-level canal crossing Panama, which was at the time part of Colombia. However, the French effort unfortunately failed due to poor planning, financial corruption, malaria, and yellow fever. In 1889, 8 years later after construction began, the project was ultimately abandoned, after tragically losing 20,000 workers and spending up to $289 million. The idea of a canal was then revived by the United States, and in the year 1903, after the United States failed to reach an agreement with Colombia, they supported Panamanian independence. Shortly after, Panama granted the United States control of the Panama Canal Zone. Construction began in 1904, and the Americans gave preference to a lock-based system, rather than a sea-level route. Under the leadership of William Crawford Gorges, they also reduced the threat posed by yellow fever and malaria, by eliminating mosquito breeding grounds. The American effort included massive excavation projects, including the Gallat Cut and damming the Chagres River, in order to create the Gatun Lake, as well as building a series of massive locks to raise and lower ships, as the surface of the Gatun Lake is 26 meters above sea level. The canal officially opened in August 15, 1914. And the first ship ever to complete a full transit of the canal was SS Ancon. The Panama Canal operates using a system of locks, which are essentially chambers with gates at each end that can be filled with or drained of water to raise or lower vessels. Ships enter the canal at either the Atlantic or Pacific entrance and are guided by locomotives called mules along the locks to maintain precise positioning. The transit begins with the vessel entering the Gatun locks on the Atlantic side, which lift the ship about 85 feet 26 meters above sea level to the level of Gatun Lake, an artificial lake created by damming the Chagres River. From there, the ship traverses the lake, passes through the Gallat Cut, the narrowest section of the canal, and then descends via the Pedro Miguel and Miraflores locks on the Pacific side. Each set of locks consists of one or more chambers, and water is moved by gravity, without the use of pumps. Water flows from reservoirs through culverts to raise and lower the level inside the locks. On average, a full transit takes about 8 to 10 hours. The process uses vast quantities of fresh water. Each transit requires approximately 50 million gallons, or 190 million liters of water, which is replenished from rainfall and the watershed around Gatun Lake. Originally built to accommodate the size of ships at the time, the canal faced capacity limitations in the 20th century. Maritime trade grew and larger vessels, known as post-Panamax ships, were developed. So in the year 2007, the Panama Canal expansion project began, adding an extra traffic lane, therefore doubling the capacity of the canal. The expanded canal began operating in the year 2016. In accordance with the Torrijos-Carter Treaty signed in 1977, control of the Panama Canal was formally transferred from the United States to Panama on December 31, 1999. Under Panamanian control, the canal has become more profitable and efficient, contributing significantly to the country's economy. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please consider subscribing, it would mean a lot. Have a good day.